Hi everyone, this is Dr. Jenine and I'm so glad to have you with me in my little office area. And today I just want to say a quick message or just kind of convey to you something that's really been on my heart lately, and it is about body image. We live in a society where body image is so important, so much that 95 to 98% of us feel like we have something wrong with our bodies. And this is men and women. We are inundated with touched up photos, with swimsuit models, with sports magazines with men with, bulging muscles and whatnot. And whereas it's good to take care of our bodies, to be in good shape, to exercise, to eat right, to do all the right things, to just have that glow from the inside out, to have the power of God just really generating inside of us and being very confident. All of those things are amazingly good. What isn't is setting up a standard that everyone has to be the same, or everyone has to project this perfected image of who we're supposed to be on the outside. It was the ancient Greeks that used to worship their bodies, and they did a lot of exercise, bodybuilding and things like that. And what was happening is God was like shaking his head. No. They were missing one little special thing that is more powerful than anything else. In fact, it's not really little at all. They were missing the power of God and the image of God that lived inside of them and lives inside of you and me. When we worship one thing over God, then God considers it to be idolatry, not because He doesn't want us to look good, not because He doesn't want us to have good things, not because He doesn't want us to have wealth, health, well-being, and be healed all the way down to the soul level. He wants all of those things for us. But there's one condition. He has to be first. And, I am putting God in the male persona because that's what we have learned from generation to generation. But God is a spirit. The Bible clearly says to us that God is a spirit. And that spirit is a part of who we are. In fact, being made in the image of God should be the greatest thing that you present to this world. Because it is. It's the greatest thing that you have. It's the biggest gift that you are. We have a light that's inside of us that is brighter than any lighthouse, that shines through the darkness, that brings out that spark in not just us, but everyone else that's around us. We have that inner being, that God center, that presence that's inside of us that most of us believe is there, but never endeavor to really touch upon or tap into what that means and experience what that really is to us. We have such a blessed heritage created from the beginning of time with the very breath of God inside of us. That's why I like to really emphasize breath. God made us in a way where we breathe, where we take in oxygen, where everything that's energetic around us gets consumed inside of our bodies, and it has the ability to relax every part of us. It's so amazing when you really study and think about it, the amazing energetic way that God has given us, just these powerful energy centers in our body. We need to focus, and this is my opinion, you can agree or not agree, we need to focus more on the attributes that God has given to us on the inside and the power that He's given to us through His presence, through love, through spiritual dynamics, and the way that we've been created. There is nothing that is more beautiful than the human will when we tap into God's power and we become that overcomer. We celebrate those moments when people overcome cancer, when we are healed and we overcome great obstacles in our lives, because it's our humanness that's tapping into that presence and power of God, that image of God that He's given to us. It's so much more important than the touched up images that you see on TV commercials, in magazines, even the fitness magazines. They're touched up. They are. And it gives us such an inappropriate and wrong image of what fitness is supposed to be. Fitness, in my opinion, is making yourself fit for life, in living. So for me, fitness means I have God love inside of me, that I have tapped into that power of His love, and I have that light that springs forth like a fountain, and that because of all the wisdom He's given to me through the Spirit, I like to be healthy. I like to take care of myself. I take care of myself because I want my loved ones to have me around. Fitness to me is being filled with laughter and celebrating life. Fitness is being fit to be on this planet, to be a human being who has chosen to walk in God's light that lives within us and dwells within us, to worship God inside the temple that He created. And He created it in the most wonderful and unique way. There is such a miraculous way that when an embryo is inside of its mother's womb, that it divides into so many millions of different cells to create a child. It is such a miracle. If you ever have the opportunity to study how the embryo develops and how many times conception actually causes division of cells and creates every part of the human body, it's an absolute miracle. Do it. Check it out. Do a Google search. Read a book. I'm just kind of like Christine Northrup. Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom, I think is the title. I think she goes into some of that in the beginning of her book. She is an amazing author. And, you really need to read some of her stuff, because she does talk about the miracle of how we are conceived and the amazing way that the human body is actually developed in our mother's womb. God says that we have been created, and we are created uniquely in our mother's womb, that He has formed and fashioned us in a very special way. He has His design, and there's no part of His design that is either lacking or tainted. He has created us in perfection. Not that we are perfect as human beings, but His creation is in perfection in the way that He has designed us to be. And it matters not what our features are, what maybe our perceived handicaps might be. We are all beautiful in His sight. And if we can think of ways to divide ourselves in this planet or on this planet, we have thought of it. There's so many bazillions of ways. But we can choose to divide ourselves and see ourselves like that. But regardless to how we want to divide ourselves, we're still one human race. And Jesus gave us the example that as He prayed to the Father, He said, let them be one as you and I are one. And what I really believe in my heart is what he wanted us to see is that we are one. He already knows it, okay? But we need to see that we are one. And so when we look at somebody and we perceive them as faulty, or like something visually is unappealing or wrong with them, we've just criticized ourselves. We've just judged ourselves because we are a part of one humanity. And when we get to the point where we really recognize that, we stop the judgment, we stop the finger pointing, we stop the need to be perfect, because outside there is no way we're going to conform to the image that man has created. We're perfect in God's sight the way we are, just the way we are. And I want to just give that gift to you today, that you are perfect the way you are. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And I want you to please, if you can do this, take your eyes off of the touched up photos for a while. And I want you to stand in front of a mirror, if you will, and love your body, every part of it, especially that part that you think is faulty. And for some of us, it's our personality. Sometimes it's not just the exterior. We have emotional things that have gone on, and we don't love ourselves because of those things. But I want you to repeat, I love myself. It is not selfish or self-centered or conceited to love yourself. Going overboard, yes, okay? We're not going to go back to the ancient Greeks and worship just our bodies, okay? Or ourselves. But you know what I'm talking about. Love yourself. Tell yourself, I love you the way you are. And say your name. So, I love you, Jenine. I love you the way you are. I love you how you look. I love you how you laugh. I love you when you're crying. I love you when you're deeply hurting. I love you when you have had 5 children, and because of that, yes, you have stretch marks in places that you wish you didn't. But why do I wish I didn't? Because society tells me that it's not acceptable. How can that be when most of us have that? You know, we all have that. And going around covering it up is almost symbolic as to how much we cover up inside of here. We are fearfully and wonderfully made on the inside as well. We are the temple of God's Spirit. We hold His presence, like I said, within us, and we are fearfully and wonderfully made in there too. He looks at all of the inside. I love myself. Tell yourself, I love myself as I am, with my bumps and bruises and emotional scars and all of the things that even society can't touch up. They can't present our emotional wounds on the page of a magazine and touch it up. The only one who can touch up all of those things and really touch it to the very core is the presence of the Almighty Creator, who knows you more than anyone ever could and accepts you the way you are. He'll never judge you. He'll never misunderstand you. He'll never expect you to put on a facade or be anything other than who and what you are right now. He'll transform you if you give him an opportunity. He'll transform you. That is coming with looking on the inside of us, understanding and learning about what that means to have the presence of deepened, unconditional, godly love inside of us as a person, the kind of love that is so powerful that it even heals. Jesus touched upon others on the outside, and he actually could see like X-ray vision on the inside. He knew what was going on inside of us, and he saw that emotional, mental connection to our physical frailties and actually our diseases. And so, you know, we need to fashion ourselves after his example. And work on some of the inner things. Work on some of the acceptance of who we are, the way we are right now, and understand that God is not here to be complacent inside of our body and around us, that God is a spirit that is very active in our lives. God wants to be active in your life and wants to disperse guardians to be there with you, teachers to come and meet with you, to orchestrate some of your life so that you can learn and so that you can succeed and excel and understand and awaken. He wants your heart not to be like this, but he wants your heart to be like this. Meaning, I accept all that I am, and I'm going to accept all that God brings to me. The blessing, even as I go through hardship, even as I go through illness, even as I go through trial, even when I don't understand. I accept it. And as you do that, accept everyone around you. You may not accept or want to accept their behavior, and you don't have to if it's not good behavior. But love the person. Love who God created. Because when you don't love yourself. Remember, we're all a part of each other. We are one humanity. There is not one single person that Jesus didn't die for. He died for the entire world. Will the whole world accept him? No, probably not. I'd like to say not. The Bible says not. But God has a plan. And some of that plan is still a mystery. And if you're like me, I love mysteries. And I love to be a mystic. I love to delve into all of the things that are around me and listen to God's wisdom and ask for God to disperse teachers, spiritual and physical. And for me to just, I have to explore what life is about, because when you don't know what life is about, you don't know how to learn it. Learn how to live in this training ground that we have and enjoy the life that we've been given. We're here to learn, to foster relationships, to play on the playground right, and to learn how to love one another, because that means we're loving ourselves as well, and that we're loving the Creator who made us. Today, take a long, beautiful walk. After you look in the mirror and accept yourself and tell yourself that you love yourself. Okay, do that first and foremost. Do it for yourself. Not because I'm asking you to, but do it for yourself because it's important. Do it every day. Do it with nothing on, and accept all the lumps, bumps, and things that are all on your human body. That's humanness, that's human existence. And then go for a nice mindful walk and ask God to illuminate into your mind some of the wisdom and the guidance that comes through Spirit. And accept it for all that it's worth. Lap it up just like a great big beautiful ice cream cone on a hot day. That sounds real good for today, because it's going to be very warm, hot, and humid here in Northeast Texas. And so that kind of sounds like a good idea for me today. Do my meditation with an ice cream cone. Why not? So anyway, I've said all this to say we live in a society that spends over $8 billion a year on diet products. There's a reason that we do that. It's because we're kind of suffering from an illness. It's called a soul sickness. We believe that a product is going to help us be better and more perfect. That's going to help us accept ourselves more. That's going to help other people accept us as more beautiful. That we are striving to be not just healthy, because being healthy is a good thing. Protein shakes and all of those things, adding protein and vitamins to our lives, that's a good thing. But doing all of those things for the wrong reasons is not. We are trying to present ourselves as worthy human beings in the sight of other human beings, when the truth is we have already been made worthy. It's called the power of the cross. Think about it, study it, dive into it, lap it up for all it's worth, and don't waste a moment of your life thumbing through any of the magazines, and I'm telling you, they're not going to like me very well. That's okay. That present a touched up photo of what you think you're supposed to be like, or what they want you to think you're supposed to be like, okay? Because the way that you're supposed to be like is the way you've been made. God's image. Continue to tell yourself that. No matter what image I present to this world, I'm made in God's image. And I carry God's attributes, love, and acceptance without judgment. And I'm going to be a light to this world today. Before the traffic goes by and starts to drown me out, I'm going to end this video because, like, once again, I start off to do maybe a 2 or 3 minute, maybe a 5-minute video, and it ends up being 20 minutes long. There's just no way I can not. Once I get started, it's like, oh boy, try to stop me. Anyway, I just want to tell you, I love you the way that you are right now. And if you're struggling with this, and you need somebody to edify you, you need somebody to help you with your body image issues, you can give me a call. Make an appointment with me. It is 832-484-8306. That's what I'm here for. I've decided that this is my calling. This is my calling. I need to help people understand who they are. And as I try to figure out who I am, and who God is, because I believe healing comes from understanding who all of that is and how that works. Okay? So I love you from here. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Have an awesome look in the mirror and a great and wonderful mindful walk. If you can't walk outside because of the weather, or maybe you're feeling a little under the weather, do a little walk around your space, or do some meditation and look within and ask God to give you a word of wisdom today, because when you ask, you receive. Guaranteed. Okay? Love you. Bye-bye.